Hello, how are you today, my YouTube friends? It's 2 days before Thanksgiving, and it seemed like a good time to do a continuation. I said that I would come and read the 12 steps. In turn, I read the whole chapter beforehand. So, I'm pretty sure you can probably buy it on Amazon. But if you want to dig deeper into this, I took the concept that the Crappy Childhood Fairy used, and I applied it to my life. Prior relationships, I now need to do, obviously, family situations, but prior marriages, prior trauma situations, I basically wrote a fourth step of my life. Now, they suggest in the book that you have a friend, sponsor, preacher, someone to share this stuff with. I suggest that be a good thing. It's probably a good thing. I did this on my own because I didn't have anybody else around. And when I tried to share this, say for instance my children, well, they just thought I was crazy. So, if you need someone to share with, I'm not going to think you're crazy. Anyway, I'll refer to chapter 5, how it works, in the Alcoholics Anonymous Big Book. I am reading from the 4th edition, although there's probably more. Ironically enough, I got this book at a secondhand store, and I find it very, very cool. In the front, it says, "To my loving wife, from Michael." I took that as Archangel Michael to me. Anyway, I said I would read the 12 steps. Okay, and in the place of the word alcohol, I'm just going to put my life. Okay? To help you comprehend it just a little bit more. But this is a good way to take a thorough inventory if you want to heal or start a healing journey from past traumas, I believe. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. 1, we admitted we were powerless over our life, and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of that God as we understood him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. For instance, if that person is dead, you could write a letter to them, maybe burn it, that kind of thing. Continued to take personal inventory when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to, I'll leave that blank, and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. And if you continue to read this chapter, It's very helpful. So, if you want to use this as a way to work through your traumas, it helps you to come to an acceptance. Okay? But in this chapter, it talks about the main reason why we fail. Basically, it's of course it's focusing on alcoholics. Okay? Now, I had my time with alcohol in my life. I no longer have that issue. But I used it as a way to escape. Escape things that I didn't want to face. Whether that was things that happened to me or things about me. But as you go on in this chapter, and it's only, it's not very long. I'm just going to read just a little bit more. If you don't do a thorough one, okay? What usually happens is the show doesn't come off very well. He begins to think life doesn't treat him right. He decides to exert himself more. He becomes, on the next occasion, still more demanding or gracious, as the case may be. Still, the play does not suit him. Admitting that he may be somewhat at fault, he is sure that other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, indignant, and self-pitying. What is his basic trouble? He is not really a self-seeker, even when trying to be kind. He is not a victim of the delusion that he can wrest satisfaction and happiness out of his world if he only manages well. It's not evident to all the rest of the players that these are the things he wants. And do not his actions make each of them wish to retaliate, snatching all they can get out of the show? He is not, even in his best moments, a producer of confusion rather than harmony. Our actor is self-centered, egocentric, as people like to call it nowadays. He is like the retired businessman who lolls in the Florida sunshine in the winter, complaining of the sad state of the nation, or the minister who sighs over the sins of the 20th century. Politicians and reformers who are sure all would be utopia if the rest of the world would only behave. Or the outlaw or the safecracker who thinks society has wronged him, and the alcoholic who has lost all and is locked up. Whatever our protestations are, not most of us concerned with ourselves, our resentments, or our self-pity. Selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows, and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us, seemingly without provocation, but we invariably find that at some time in the past we have made decisions based on self, which later placed us in a position to be hurt. So above everything, we must be rid of selfishness. We must, or it kills us. God makes that possible. And there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. So first you have to ask for God's help. And I think that's where that fourth step comes into play. It lets you look at everything from all sides. And you just have to give it to God. And you have to let go of it. This is the how and the why of it. First of all, we had to quit playing God. It didn't work. And next, we decided that hereafter, in this drama of life, God is going to be our director. He is the principal, and we are his agents. He is the father, and we are his children. Most good ideas are simple. And this is the keystone of the new and the triumphant arc through which we passed to freedom. And when we sincerely took such a position, all sorts of remarkable things followed. So, this book is full of wisdom. And even if you're not an alcoholic, you can apply this to many things in your life. And it has been done in many ways, shapes, and forms. Anyway, that is how I dissected the trauma in my life. And I wanted to share that. I'm still not getting any views, but I'm not going to quit. There comes a point in time where you just have to let go and let God. The holidays are rough for a lot of us. If you're spending the holiday alone or working like me, just remember that your smile, even though like me I have resting bitch face and I don't always have the enthusiasm that I need, but I try. I do work with the public. And there's just like you and me, some folks out there are just having a bad day. I try to remember that. I try not to absorb it. It's very hard. I'm enjoying my ladybug coffee this morning. And I'll say that because after my pot of coffee brewed, what's floating at the top? Yeah, a ladybug. Well, I just took a spoon, took it out. I'm going to drink the coffee anyway. Maybe I'll drink my luck today. Try to keep your head up through this holiday season. It's not going to be easy. Some of us, it's going to be quite a struggle. You know, the main thing in this book that I learned in my 20s from this big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is that everyone needs fellowship. In their case, it was meetings. Some people, it's churches. I follow a group that I've joined on Facebook that deals with Quartzsite, Arizona, and all the people that go there. Some have been going there wintering for 20 years. There's a part of me that wants to go. I got this ring right here. You probably can't read it. Anyway, it says faith over fear. Just a little reminder for me. And then yesterday, I was listening to someone on YouTube, and it was Tennille Talks again. I don't know who that young lady is, but she is full of wisdom. And I really don't know if she's reading cards or not. It's just a picture and a voice. But she's full of wisdom. And she was talking yesterday about that very thing. Faith over fear. And how sometimes you can share your dreams with people and they will do their best to talk you out of it or to make you look at the bad side of it. And some people have many reasons for that. Maybe they're genuinely concerned. Maybe they're jealous that they just can't step away. Or I'm not really sure, but it was very eye-opening. So the ring, faith over fear. I was out there on my own in 2020, and some bad things happened. And after, it took some time, but, I'm finally feeling safe again in my skin. And I can't let all those fears keep me from doing what I want to do. And I was all gung-ho in 2020. With lots of aspirations and wanting to do things. And now, because there were no support on my dreams and aspirations, everything that I shared with people, and I'm not going to point fingers, but they know who they are, did not encourage me. Did not say, oh, that's a good idea, or anything. Those same people probably think that I'm just working, keeping my head down, finally doing the right thing, I guess. But I'm quietly working outside of that 9 to 5. I'm still writing. I write poetry, songs. I may not play an instrument, but isn't songs poetry? Or vice versa? There's a book in me. There's probably several books in me. But as long as I hold down this trading my time for money, things are not going to change. I was talking to someone yesterday. Well, it was just a fleeting stranger, of course, because, that's the only interactions that I really have. I don't really have any friends. Just fleeting interactions with strangers that I probably will never see again. But I was thinking about this the debt wheel, you know, the wheel of debt. And how when you pay off something, you lose all kinds of points on your credit. So now you have to stay in debt to build it back up to be able to get ahead again. So that when you pay that off, boom, they knock you back down again. It's a never-ending perpetual wheel. All by design. They'll advertise that cheap interest rate, 3%, 4%. But read the fine print. Because if it's an average daily balance, you're screwed. Even if you might have a little bit of a reprieve if it's an annual. But most are based on the average daily balance, and people don't realize that. And they like to give you that 90-day reprieve. No payments for 90 days. Why? Because they need to build up that interest so that you are always behind. So they always have that big balance that you started with to base their average daily balance on. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about that, but I was just thinking about that. I was having a conversation, like, with a family member, and I said, I've maybe got 10 years of good, where I'm physically going to be able to work and pay for things. So if I want to retire in 10 years, then I need to be able to have a place to live, and it's got to be bought and paid for by then. But in actuality, the way this system is set up, no, it will take 10 years to build that credit rating enough to where you could even think about buying a house. So I think I'm just going to save up my cash and just pay cash outright. Anyway, thoughts. Here's some more thoughts. The holidays are rough. So if you're going to be alone or working on the holidays, just remember that you're not alone. You're not the only one out there doing that. Sometimes it's a good way to not think about loss. Just keep busy. Well, my door is open and it's kind of cold, but I did it for the lighting. And I'm getting a little chilly. Enjoy your Lucky Ladybug coffee like me. I hope that everyone has a good Thanksgiving. I'm going to be emotional the next few days, so I will not be back on here. And I guess I'm not getting views because I've yet to find my tribe. But I know you're out there. And eventually, this will be upbeat. I promise. I just need a real home to work out of, because I eventually want to do art. It may be a while before that happens. I might have to start doing it outside, maybe in the summer, in the spring. Just start painting outside and filming it outside where the lighting's good. Where there's a will, there's a way. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thanks for listening. And I hope you all have a good holiday. God bless.